Let's do a little conference championship pick'em. And again, we're not talking about picking the winners of the games, Brad. That'll be tomorrow. Why don't we get our producer, Brandon Combs, in the mix here and tell everybody what we're going to do here in this segment that we're calling Conference Championship Pick'em. Combsy?
We're going to go through. I'm going to give you guys some matchups, not necessarily guys that are playing against one another, but just guys that are playing in Conference Championship Pick'em or Conference Championship weekend and that are playing the same position. Who do you think is going to have a better game and why? So let's get to our first matchup. These two are coincidentally playing against each other, and we just talked to Michael Bumpus about one of them. Cooper Kupp or Davante Adams? Pat, who's going to have a bigger day?
I would say without a doubt, but I don't even know. I don't think he had a catch until the late third quarter against the Bears. But that is Davante Adams. I mean, look, there was nobody at one point in the season before his hamstring injury that was targeted more in the red zone in the entire league than Davante Adams. He is still going to be a favorite, massive target for Matthew Stafford, especially inside the red zone, especially on critical downs, and especially if Seattle can slow down, double team, bracket cover Puka Nacua. That's going to open up a lot of opportunities for Davante Adams. Like, it wouldn't shock me. Here's a little bold prediction. Wouldn't shock me if Davante Adams is the leading receiver in this game, because we know how instrumental JSN is for Seattle, and we know how critical Puka is for the Rams. So that should open opportunities for both these guys. But the book's been out on Jackson Smith and Jigba from the start of last season. And Cooper Kupp, he just hasn't gotten that many targets this year. He hasn't gotten, and again, this isn't the Cooper Kupp prime, in his prime in the Rams, breaking the NFL record, winning the Triple Crown. We know that. But I still thought that Cooper Kupp maybe would have had a bigger role in this offense. He does at times, but not consistently and not in situations where you would think. Davante is always a prime target for Stafford in the red zone. I think he's going to have the bigger day. I'll go with Davante.
I disagree. I'm actually going to go Cooper Kupp. Why? Because Davante Adams is going to see who the former ILL standout and Devin Witherspoon. And I think Spoon is going to serve him up nothing but a bitter tasting stew, much like he did last time. The only matchup that Adams played in when these two have gone toe-to-toe, and they've already played twice. He missed one game due to injury, played in the other one. He was targeted 8 times in that one game. 1 catch, 1 yard, sure was for a touchdown, but Witherspoon has been one of the best cover corners in the league all season long. Cooper Kupp, yeah, he's got a difficult matchup, but he's still a slippery route runner, and a guy that's going to see around 4 to 6 targets. I don't think both are going to have extraordinary or outstanding days by any stretch of the imagination, but I think Kupp outproduces Adams. One of my favorite bets of this game is the under on Davante Adams, 4.5 receptions. Book it.
Brad, I can't believe you didn't use your opportunity for revenge game with Cooper Kupp in the playoffs against the LA Rams.
True.
You had the perfect opportunity and you didn't take it. Look, I
think he's already had multiple revenge games against him.
But this is the playoffs, and we know that he wants to have that game. Plus, he led the team in receiving last week for the Seattle Seahawks. He had a much better day. I think the focus is going to be on JSN and taking him out of the equation, and they're going to make Cooper Kupp beat them, and he just might do that. All right. Let's move on to the next matchup, boys. Drake Maye or Matthew Stafford. So Drake Maye going up against the Broncos defense or Matthew Stafford going up against the Seahawks defense. Who has a better day, Brad?
This is going to be Drake Maye. Honestly, I think these guys are going to have comparable vertical yardage. Matthew Stafford last time out against Seattle absolutely ripped him a new one for 457. But the prior matchup, he only went for a $130. I think the truth is going to be somewhere there in the middle. Really, the difference between these two guys, obviously, the legs and the rushing production. Matthew Stafford is prop, always on BetMGM, over under a half a yard. Will I be tempted to take it? Sure. Am I going to bet on it? Probably not. But Drake Maye is a guy that can get you 66 yards like he did in the wild card round. Can also be a guy get you, modest like 25 to 35 against an aggressive and assertive front. of the Denver Broncos. I think Maye throws the release, say 230, couple of touchdowns, and then pads the bottom line with about 35 or 40 rushing yards. He will outproduce Matty Stafford on the road there at Lumen Field.
I disagree with you here, Brad. It's good. We're on opposite sides here for the first two.
Yeah.
I think not enough people are realizing that Drake Maye's got 5 turnovers so far through 2 games in the postseason. And the Patriots defense just has absolutely annihilated both their opponents, holding the Chargers to 3 points, forcing 5 turnovers from CJ Stroud. And Drake Maye has kind of flown under the radar because the quarterback opposing him has been downright brutal in their first 2 games. 5 turnovers in the first 2 games. We know how lethal this Denver Broncos pass rush and defense can be. They, Buffalo was able to pick them apart at times throughout the game and score 30 points despite having 5 turnovers. But I think that this is like a hang your hat and hang your season on the Broncos defense kind of game on Sunday. We know that, of course, because Jarrett Stidham's playing quarterback. So they're going to have to Bronco up. They're going to have to buck up. And I think they do. And I think they force another 2 turnovers from Drake Maye. The question is, can Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos move the ball? But either way, I think Drake Maye will struggle once again. And I think Matthew Stafford will have a Matthew Stafford game that we remember for a long time. So I'm going undoubtedly Matthew Stafford here. And it's funny because if both these guys win their games, we're 1 win away from each from a Super Bowl that is going to be the MVP versus the MVP runner-up. And who's going to win MVP and who's going to win MVP runner-up, we don't know between Stafford and Drake Maye. But, man, I'm really hoping that we get that. That would be the cherry on top of a fantastic season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Matthew Stafford has the better day because I think Matthew Stafford has to have the better day. They might not win the game, the Rams, but I think Matthew Stafford is going to absolutely have to pass for a ton of yards, get the ball through the air against this Seattle defense in order for them to have a chance to beat Seattle, where I think New England's going to rely a lot on the run. So that's why I think Matthew Stafford might have the better day. Kyren Williams or RJ Harvey? Pat, who has a better day?
This is a really good one. And it's a really tough one as well. Because the strength of the Seattle Seahawks defense is that run defense. Top 3 in the NFL in yards per game allowed. But we know, again, the Broncos are kind of hamstrung this Sunday because Jarrett Stidham was playing quarterback. And so what is New England probably going to do for the entire first half? They're probably going to put 8 guys in the box and dare Denver to throw on them. And RJ Harvey did not have much success at all last week. In fact, the first 2 carries of the game right out of the gate went to Jaleel McLaughlin, which I was surprised by because Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin hadn't been really out touching RJ Harvey down the stretch here in the season. And all of a sudden it was a complete flip of the script. So I don't know what to expect from the touches out of the backfield in Denver. I would assume that between him and Jaleel McLaughlin, there'll probably be 35, 40 of them. But I will still go with RJ Harvey here because I know how great Seattle's run defense is. And Kyren Williams had to get 23 carries just to get 70 rushing yards when they played each other in week 16. Did much, much better against them in the first meeting. But I'll go with RJ Harvey. Denver at a necessity. They have to run the ball, stick to the run in the first half. And if he gets 2, he breaks 2 of them for 10, 15 yards, you could be looking at a 60-yard day or a 70-yard day for RJ Harvey. And I don't know if Kyren Williams is going to be able to get there. Honestly, I think Seattle's defense is really going to stuff that run, and that is going to put all the weight on the shoulders of Matthew Stafford. So this is not an easy one. 50-50 on it, but I'll lean RJ Harvey to have the bigger day.
I'm like 90-10 on Kyren Williams. I don't think it's going to be remarkably or outstandingly close at all. I think he's going to absolutely wax him in terms of overall production. Yes, Seattle is number 3 in rush EPA defense in games played since week 12. They are outstanding. There's no doubt about it, but it's all about volume, man. RJ Harvey's got to surrender and lose some of those touches, as you mentioned, to Jaleel McLaughlin, who's got more juice, I feel, in the legs. Another thing we can't overlook here is Seattle in the regular season allowed the most running back receptions in 97 in total over the 17-game slate in the NFL. Kyren Williams is going to play a factor as a check down weapon for Matthew Stafford. So I'm going to say it right now, at least 80 combined yards. I think he finds the end zone as well. May have as many as 4 or 5 receptions. That will outdistance RJ Harvey across the board.
Wow. See, I thought it was a trick question because I think they're both dead in the water. That's the way that I'm going with it this week. I don't think either one of these guys have a extremely outstanding game, which leads us to our next matchup: Seahawks defense or Patriots defense. Who has the better day, Brad?
I got to go with a layup. It's got to be New England. Jarrett Stidham's got a lot to prove. There are a number of people out there. Oh, man, he could be Nick Foles revisited. He could be like Colin Kaepernick back in the day, a backup rising the occasion and carrying a team deep in the postseason. Pump the brakes a little bit. I know Stidham has posted some decent numbers in 4 career NFL starts, completing over 62% of his passes, averaging 270 yards per game through the air and 23 rush yards per game. But he also had a 6-4 touchdown reception split, and the turnovers are a concern. The Pats defense can really get after you. They are ratcheting up pressure and doing it successfully. High-powered offense for Seattle they got to face. If Matthew Stafford is firing all cylinders, this won't be remotely close. It's got to be the Patriots.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to play devil's advocate here and go 4 for 4 on Brad and I disagreeing with one another, I can. I can. I just don't. How can you have trust in Jarrett Stidham? The guy is making his 4th career start, and it's coming in the AFC title game. New England's defense, that pass rush, criminally underrated how great they've been here down the stretch and now in the first 2 playoff games they've played. We mentioned the run. It's going to be tough sledding to run the football. Stidham is going to have to then do a lot with his arm, or he's going to be forced into a lot of third and uncomfortables, and New England's probably going to get a turnover or 2 out of that. Like the Seahawks defense, yeah, they've been bone crushing. They've been awesome. They've been violent. But look at the ceiling that the Rams offense has with Stafford and Puka and Davante and Kyren Williams and the tight ends. I mean, we saw them put up 550 total yards of offense on Seattle. Granted, there was overtime involved, but still, like we've seen the Rams offense cook the Seattle defense. Denver's offense has had a lot of question marks this year, and that was with Bo Nix under center. Now it's Jarrett Stidham. Not even a question for me. Patriots defense they better have the better day. Otherwise, maybe this upset happens in Denver on Sunday.
Yeah, I think the one unknown that you have with the Patriots defense having the better day, which is why I think it's the Seahawks, is because they know what to expect. They've already faced the Rams twice. The Patriots don't know what to expect with Jarrett Stidham. There's not a ton of tape out there on Jarrett Stidham and what this Broncos offense looks like with Jarrett Stidham. That's why I think the Seahawks defense has the better day. All right, let's go straight to that.
You're just saying that to be a contrarian. There's no way you believe that. There's not a lot of tape cut out on Jarrett Stidham because he's been a backup quarterback his whole life.
I understand that, but you've also got Sean Payton as their head coach there in Denver. Sean Payton believes in him. We've seen Sean Payton do things with quarterbacks in the past. I'm not going to put it past Jarrett Stidham to just have one good game. He might be able to have one good game. You act like we didn't just see Nick Foles do this a handful of years ago with the Philadelphia Eagles and take a team to a Super Bowl. So absolutely a backup quarterback could come in and have a good day with a good coaching staff at his disposal, and that's exactly what Jarrett Stidham has. And the Broncos and Jarrett Stidham haven't faced the Patriots, whereas the Seahawks have already faced the Rams twice.
It's a good point you make about Nick Foles. I can't take that away, but you said Sean Payton believes in him. Why does Sean Payton believe in Jarrett Stidham? Because he didn't bring Cam Newton or Tom Brady out of retirement to play quarterback this Sunday?
He signed him the day after he became the head coach. He went his first move was to go get Jarrett Stidham. He believes in Jarrett Stidham.
We'll see.
That's why he's played.
That's the thing.
That's why he started a total of 0 games here. In the last 2 years.
Well, hey, let's get into our final matchup then. Who has a better day, Jarrett Stidham or Sam Darnold? Pat, you son of a.
The better day will be Sam. It'll be Sam Darnold because I think Jarrett Stidham. I'll predict Jarrett Stidham's line here. Ready? 16 for 35 for 179 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a fumble lost. And I've had my doubts and my question marks about Sam after I was all over him on his bandwagon, glazing him all last year in Minnesota, glazing him in the beginning of the year at Seattle. I've had my doubts about him. Sam could not play well in this game. He'll still play better than Jarrett Stidham.
Pat, I got a question for you. Just quick follow-up. How many rush yards for Stidham? Because I'm genuinely curious, and I may have a wager on it.
I will say... I'll say 4 carries for 19 yards.
Oh, God bless you. I'm cashing the over, baby. By the way, the over-under is 14.5 yards. And yes, I think he's going to flirt with exactly 20. So you and I are very much on the same wavelength. However, I am definitely not going to be back in Stidham. So again, I guess you and I are on the same wavelength again. I'm going to go with Sam Darnold for one reason and one reason only. JSN. I rest my case.
Combs, any last thoughts?
I'm gonna go. I like Stidham. I think Stidham's gonna have a good day. I think the Broncos are going to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
I think you're nuts.
Could be right.
I think you're nuts. I think you're clinging to an
you are.
underdog because you want to see the improbable happen now that your Chicago Bears are knocked out of the playoffs. I respect it, but it's lunacy.